Let's talk about how B2B marketers can become thought leaders and remove the content overwhelm that exists when it comes to having to create content consistently to become a true thought leader online. So this episode will talk about how B2B marketers can leverage their knowledge to become true thought leaders while also driving impact through the campaigns they contribute to. So creating thought leadership content like what you're seeing with this video here, but also doing it to a very niche audience. Thought leadership doesn't necessarily mean you're going to become a massive entertainer and build the biggest YouTube following in the world or LinkedIn following, but it means that you're going to talk to a very specific audience. So if you're a B2B marketer who's ready to get more impact through your marketing efforts, then listen up because you need to invest in thought leadership for your brand building. And one note to add is this actually does relate to your sales teams as well. So as a B2B brand, empower your sales teams and your individual sales reps to become thought leaders, to host podcasts, to do interviews with niche specific thought leaders for a very targeted audience. First, let's talk about how B2B marketing can completely change when you use data. So B2B leaders are increasingly relying on data to measure the impact of their campaigns and to improve their decision making. So for instance, SaaS companies like HubSpot use analytics tools to track their engagement metrics, their lead conversion rates, and just the general performance of how their content like video is actually doing. This allows them to optimize and improve their strategy in real time. Now, this is a really cool feature in tools like HubSpot and others that allow you to get the data you need to make better decisions for your marketing and your sales teams. Plus, the data and information you get can help guide the topics and episodes you go to create for your thought leadership content. And keep this in mind too. So using real data will always outperform guesswork because it reduces assumptions and actually uses the actual customer behavior, providing more accurate targeting and campaign optimization. So this is going to lead to higher conversion rates and just a general better customer experience. Your content should perform better with your specific audience. Then it's also important to consider the power of creative campaigns in your B2B marketing. So there are creative campaigns like what IBM has done with Outthink the Future. This campaign highlights the innovation and thought leadership of their company. So IBM uses storytelling and creative video content to showcase its technology solutions in a way that humanizes the brand and also engages executives to be involved in the process. So creativity in B2B marketing allows brands like IBM to actually stand out. B2B leaders value innovative approaches, sure, because they drive deeper engagement and it helps brands become different themselves. So for example, Adobe's creative campaign for their B2B products focus on more visual storytelling and attracting their design-centric audience. So to infuse creativity into your B2B strategies, as a marketer, you should focus on telling human-centric stories. Use more immersive visuals, so animations, motion graphics, and leverage interactive formats like webinars or AR and VR experiences. Now, here's an important tip to consider. Use tools like Google Analytics and CRM systems to align marketing with sales. So analytics can track user behavior on a website, or it helps marketers really qualify leads based on intent and actions. Then CRM systems can allow businesses to nurture these leads, ensuring marketing efforts are actually consistent with the sales goals. And this makes everyone happy. Are you looking to stand out in B2B marketing? Well, Content Supply offers scalable content creation and thought leadership marketing services to help B2B brands rise above the noise and create consistent content to land more leads and sales for their business. Visit contentsupply.com to learn how we can do this for your business to lead more thought-provoking content and driving more impactful marketing strategies. Visit contentsupply.com to learn more. Let's talk more about what it looks like for B2B marketers or salespeople in your team to become thought leaders. It simply comes down to creating daily content. And it's not just another LinkedIn written post, but it's really creating a podcast, a video podcast. And this video podcast doesn't have to be professionally filmed like this. It could be shot from phone. Us as humans love to talk about ourselves. We love to use the pronoun I when people feel seen and heard, by being, say, a guest on a podcast, then they build up trust and rapport with the person who is giving them that spotlight. So that is one of your marketing managers, your marketing team members, your sales reps, those who can interview your potential clients on a podcast. So whether you're sales reps or you have them as part of your team, have them set apart 30 minutes per week for recording time and another 30 weeks for scheduling and preparing these podcast interviews. And that preparation side can look like contacting a potential client. That can be done through outreach on LinkedIn. Maybe it's a cold email. Maybe it's asking for a referral, but you're not asking for the sell at this stage. This is simply just prospecting done by having conversations with your ideal audience and customers. So as you invite these podcast guests to be on your show, and you set apart a time to record this podcast with them, the questions you ask should shine a light on them, their expertise, and their business, what they have to say. And then what you can do is after you stop record, you can have a quick conversation and be like, hey, this was super valuable. Do you mind if we talk a little bit more about how we can potentially work more together? Or you share them the promotional details when the podcast is going live to the public. And then in that follow-up, you can simply ask them a similar question, invite them for a quick follow-up call to catch up and a way just to naturally introduce your company's services or products. This is a simple way for your sales or your marketing team to become in-house thought leaders. You don't have to go and hire spokespeople. You can use your in-house resources and team members to do so. And as you become these thought leaders and content creators, you are sourcing your community, your employees, your team to become the content creators and marketers that they actually are. Everyone's a sales representative for your company. Everyone's a marketer for your company. So why not just give a microphone to more of those people to actually produce the content for you? So as a B2B brand, this is one of the biggest opportunities you have for more promotions is to position your team members as niche specific thought leaders and content creators. Have them speak directly to a certain type of industry or audience, be that healthcare, construction, industrial, maybe e-commerce, personal branding, whatever the industry you're looking to serve. And if you serve multiple industries, then speak to those types of people and use the language and the knowledge that they're familiar with. So that way they can see you and your guests as thought leaders and someone that they can trust and ideally work with down the road. One question B2B marketers or thought leaders often do ask is, how do I balance creating enough content while also maintaining quality and value? So that's a quantity versus quality question. Of course, it goes without saying you need to focus on quality first and not necessarily quantity, but sometimes quality is subjective. You can be the most proud over a certain type of message or piece of content, which can completely underperform and get no views or drive no leads or sales, while the worst piece of content you may feel like could drive some of the most success for your business efforts and your marketing efforts. So you're not going to know until you actually hit publish and promote it and get it out there. So focus on quantity and quality. That quality is going to come with the more practice you get with showing up on camera, with putting out more content and becoming a true content creator and thought leader in the B2B marketing space. So don't get caught up with, well, am I putting out too much content? I would say there's not really, from a B2B marketing standpoint, I would honestly say there's not too much content, especially as it's driven by humans. You can't have too much content because you need daily visibility with your target audience to build up that thought leadership and trust so that way they can be guided to take the next step with learning more about your company. So focus on both quality and quantity of content creation, making sure that you have multiple posts a day going out on the relevant platforms that your audience actually spends their time online. Another question is, how do I make sure my marketing efforts align with sales? First off, make sure that you are aligned on a shared strategy for your marketing and sales efforts. Oftentimes, marketing and sales overlap on team members, on leadership. And so having similar aligned goals allow you to know that the decisions and content creation and marketing efforts that you help identify from a marketing department standpoint can also be shared and guide the choices of your sales team. Some of your marketing activities can include that video podcast element that I talked about. And then you can have a sales rep be that spokesperson and thought leader, that content creator of the podcast. They host the podcast, they interview the guests, and they help guide sales and close those leads into paying customers. One great tool when it comes to this for video marketing and hosting and running a podcast is in fact Wistia. Wistia allows you to publish video podcasts, but it also allows you to have a very creative landing page for your show. And of course, YouTube is supporting this more now too, where you're able to create a podcast specific playlist on your YouTube channel for your brand or for your personal brand. If the sales reps from your company are hosting this on their personal brand YouTube channel or channels. The key here is that you are hosting and delivering content in the best way for your audience. So if your audience is not spending time on YouTube, you can still put your content there, but making sure that you actually share that content with them through email. Wistia is more of a private or niche specific video distribution platform, and that your audience can search for and watch your content on demand as it's hosted on your own platform, meaning your website. But always keep in mind your audience when you go to create this content for thought leadership, and involve your marketing and your sales teams to be the content creators. Make it a joint effort. This is called team generated content, where your team, your community, your employees are contributing to your marketing efforts. And they can be from any department in your company. So all this to say, it's important as a B2B brand to invest in thought leadership and creating niche specific targeted messages and content that actually provides value while doing it at a high quantity. And this can be best done through hosting a video podcast and empowering your team to become the content creators. And through this, you can identify a clear ROI from these efforts and use data to identify specific episode or video titles or whatever creative content you need to create that helps drives leads and sales for your company. So let me know down below in the comments, what are you going to be doing as a B2B brand to engage your audience as a thought leader and content creator? Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe for more content just like this.